Now, ladies and gentlemen, CS2 has gotten yet again another update. By waiting just a little under a week, we have gotten quite a beefy blog post. The most recent update was on Friday the 13th as of last week, and Valve late last night decided to update once again. This most recent blog post has quite a few new changes and new additions to the game that seem great on the blog post, more so paper, but when you're actually in-game and according to the community, players seem divided once again. Today's video, we're going to run through the blog post, see changes made to sounds, skins, alongside checking in with Counter-Strike 2's declining player count. Now, today's video sponsor is Skins Monkey. Skins Monkey is a buying and trading marketplace for your CS items. It makes a safe and easy way to trade out your inventory for something new. By using my code MANDO, you can get a deposit bonus of 35% alongside a free $5 in your first trade, with a max bonus if you spend $100 or more. With a large variety of skins, deposit options, alongside daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways, they're doing a great job rivaling other competition. If interested, it'll be at the top of the link in the description below. 14 hours ago, as of me recording today's video, on October 17th, 2023, Valve put out a beefy yet controversial update, saying release notes are up for today. And as you can see, it is pretty large, at least compared to the last couple of updates where there wasn't really much included, or more so what Valve has done recently, it hasn't included everything that's actually changed or has gotten added to the game, either because they want to half-ass the blog post, they don't feel like it's necessary to include in the first place, and whatever reason I can't think of. Now let's hop into the blog post to see the changes and why it's so controversial for so many players. So as of late last night, in the gameplay category, command aliases now leverage sub-tick accuracy. Launders has already found a fix to this and pretty much workaround for this exact thing that just got fixed. That's one of the things people aren't too happy about. In the sound category, this is where people are pretty happy. There's a new sound for the final 10 seconds of the bomb beeping.
Terrorists win. Right there, yeah.
So most people know every music kit has a 10-second warning. When 10 seconds hits from when the music starts till it ends, the round obviously ends and you can't defuse the bomb anymore. This is always extremely helpful for people, well, who have it on, because they can always make sure they're going to be able to defuse it on time, especially if they do or do not have a kit. It's nice that you don't have to have music on anymore and scream at your friends saying they don't have time when they say, oh, I got time, and they just blow up anyway. They added a missing KSK agent voice. They reduced the fall-off distance of knife impacts and swish sounds, which this is a whole different thing, but knifing in CS2 feels really weird. You look at something like a chicken or a person, you think you're really close, but really you're not. It's more of you have to be in game to understand what I mean. I'm not sure if it's the sub-tick system, not sure if it's the models or just how the game feels and is in CS2 versus Go, but it just doesn't feel as smooth and as accurate, if that makes any sense. There was various tweaks and bug fixes around footstep clarity, which is good to see. I know this impacted the most probably on Nuke and maybe Overpass. These two maps were absolutely horrendous for sound. Nuke, when you heard someone underneath you on B, it literally sounded they were in front of you 5 feet away. Glad to see that's fixed. And now, of course, on in the miscellaneous category. Fixed a bug where defusing a bomb would block the player from swapping a gun dropped close by. Fixed some cases where players would peek through ceilings. As of recording right now and just reading all the patch notes and people's problems in the morning, it's still in the game. These things have still not been fixed yet, which just really sucks to see. CL_draw only death notices. When you put that on 1 when your HUD gets removed, it now blocks the match status alert as last round of the first half, which is pretty nice to see. This is usually how I record my gameplays personally when I play a deathmatch with this thing off, or go back and watch a demo, which right now we still can't, so hopefully we can soon. Added a couple other things as well. The last thing I want to know is they added a new, upgraded, modern looking net graph for Counter-Strike 2. This displays your network connection in the top right corner of your game. Now, as it goes for pure stats and numbers, obviously the original net graph is going to do so much better, but this looks really clean, looks really modern and realistic, and if you're having some ping issues like I do in CS2, pretty much going from round to round, this is a great indicator instead of having a bunch of letters and numbers on your screen and having to click tab every 5 seconds. So having this there is pretty nice to see. Let's discuss the best change with this update. It's more so of an addition, but I'm definitely going to say the 10-second warning is probably the most beneficial for everybody. Not everyone plays with the 10-second music, let alone even knows it exists, especially for some of these new players. Now let's discuss why some people are not happy with this update. Take a look at the community reaction and give my own thoughts. Judging by the comments in most of their posts, including yesterday's, if we're going to be waiting almost a week for an update, yes, it being beefy but not as big as we've had some in the past, people want there to be more things added for things that we've asked for, like playing on the left-hand side, CL_Bob, possibly a new case, but that's understandable since we already have to fix the skins we already have before putting a new one out because people would be really upset if those ones that currently existed still broken. That was pretty butchered English. Now, the first part of the blog post that we discussed that Launders actually found a fix for literally an hour after this update came out is also another reason people are not happy. The fact that you can fix something or find a workaround it after waiting almost a week for an update, and that's what we get, yeah, people aren't too pleased. And then I'm going to give my thoughts concluding today's commentary. Now, if you go on any sort of social media for CS2, even some reviews. A lot of them are not too great. And a lot of these points I think somewhat are getting blown out of proportion just because they're making headlines rather than actual facts. People are extremely pissed off about CS2 being hard-coded 64 tick. There's not 128. Yes, there's the new sub-tick system, but it's technically, well, 64. That being for Faceit, any third-party client, and CS2, just Premier Matchmaking. I personally think this is great. So the player base isn't split whether to go to a different server because, well, it's better. Aside from the anti-cheat, you can throw a smoke on Faceit, also throw it in CS2, and it'd be the exact same. Where for a decade on CSGO, that was completely different. The game was played just completely differently as well. And well, just like we mentioned, is an anti-cheat. VAC Live and the system that we have right now is just not working. It's not making the cut. These ban waves that Valve makes every few months, if not maybe 6 to possibly 1 year, doesn't really do it for CS. It also doesn't make a whole lot of sense anymore. Though I think this was pretty good in 2015 and 16, maybe up until 2018 before it went free to play. It was a decent idea, but since CS2 is free to play, and there's so many ways around these different problems people have with getting Prime, it just doesn't really make any sense why you just wouldn't make a new account if you're a cheater. VAC Live in theory and down on paper is amazing, but realistically it's an outdated system that needs some sort of change. If CS2 doesn't have some sort of anti-cheat within the next year, we're going to see the player count drop off more than it already has. And let's discuss that. People like to forget in CSGO, there was a big cheater problem. And just because CS2 is the new flashy title with good looking skins, you also got to remember it's in the very early stages. Some may say it's still in development. All CSGO content is not in CS2. There's not any new actual content with microtransactions. There's no anti-cheat, and it's bugged to all hell. But it looks good, and for the most part, it's pretty fun. CS2 within the past 30 days has lost 102,000 players, minus 10% of the actual player base. Now, there are reasons and theories for this happening, but I think too many people were hyped for not too much change with CS2. Anyway, I could go on forever about all of these topics, but I'll probably be making a couple commentaries later this week, mainly about the anti-cheat, the declining player count, and a few other things as well. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay pod, stay sexy. I'm out, guys. Peace.